your snacking routine can get a little dull. Time for a light and fit remix. Like a crunchy storm of graham cookies, caramel pearls, and dark chocolate, showering down into a smooth, creamy yogurt. Enjoy 3 light and fit remix varieties with craveable flavors and up to 120 calories and 10 grams of protein per 4.5-ounce serving. See remixyogurt.com.
Today is primary election day. The polls are open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. After you're done voting for our city leaders, let your mind wander beyond our city because sometimes you just need to get out of Philly and spend some time elsewhere. So we're listening back to a conversation I had with the former Hey Philly newsletter editor, Asha Prihar, about exploring day trips in Pennsylvania, from small town charm to scenic views. It's Tuesday, May 20th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's some new adventures to add to your list. Hey, Asha.
Hi, Trenae. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, so you've been spending some time taking day trips throughout the Commonwealth. This sounds so fun. How have you been traveling around?
Yeah, so I've done a couple by train, both Amtrak and SEPTA Regional Rail. And I've also done a couple by car. So there's just so much you can see within 2 hours of Philly, and you can be in all kinds of different atmospheres by a lot of different means of transportation.
I love that. All right, let's start in order from shortest to longest distance from Philly. We're going to start in Doylestown.
Yeah, so this one is about 40 miles from Philly. I took SEPTA Regional Rail to get there. The train took about an hour and 20 minutes from Center City because it kind of goes like it kind of doesn't go straight there. It sort of like loops around to get to a bunch of different places on the Lansdale-Doylestown line. And I would say that this is a great spot if you're looking for a sort of like really cute, quirky, kind of like small town vibe. I don't know if you've ever seen like Gilmore Girls, but it just makes me feel like I'm in like Stars Hollow for the day.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like very walkable, and they have a lot of like kind of interesting things to do.
Okay, so what did you do while you were in Doylestown?
Yeah, so I've been there a couple times, and one of my favorite things to do when I go there is go to a museum. I've really enjoyed the art collection that's in the Missioner Museum. And I also recently took a trip to the Mercer Museum, which is kind of this really, really old castle that was built to be a museum. And it has like a bunch of like pre-industrial tools. So like whaling equipment, like cooking equipment, shoe making equipment. Like there's so much, and the rooms are like literally like packed with different things, and there's literally stuff like hanging from the ceiling too. Wow. It's like kind of intense. You can spend hours there. And then the other thing I like to do in Doylestown is kind of just browse the shops that they have. They have lots of cool small businesses.
Well, since you did those museum tours and you did some shopping, I know you had to eat too, right?
Of course, yes. My absolute favorite spot in Doylestown is this place called Empanada Mama.
Ooh, I love that title.
Yeah, it's a walk-up window, kind of just like off a parking lot. I love going there and just getting a box to also take home with me to Philly and then heat up like the next day.
Right.
And the most recent time I went, I got a bagel from this place called the Bagel Barrel. I stopped by in the morning and I ordered a blueberry bagel, and it was the most blueberry bagel I have ever had in my life. It was like literally blue.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking there was a lot of blueberries in it.
Yeah, and I think they just put so many blueberries in that it like might have like dyed the dough blue or something.
Okay.
It was really blue. It was really, really good.
Okay. Next on your list is Lancaster.
Yeah, so to be clear right now, I'm talking about Lancaster, the city, and not the county. We'll get to the county.
Okay.
But the city itself is about 80 miles from Philly. I took the train to get there. It takes an hour and 15 minutes by Amtrak. It's a little bit longer if you drive, actually. And once I got there on Amtrak, I walked downtown from the train station, which I would say took probably about 20 or 30 minutes. But yeah, the city is super walkable, so I did not miss having a car while I was there. And it's such a great place to go if you just want to eat.
Okay. That was the first thing you did.
Yeah, no, I was like scoping out like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like the night before. And I had like this huge list of just like places I wanted to go eat. Obviously, I didn't get to all of it.
Right.
But I would say if you're looking for sort of a way to kind of like sample as much as you can, definitely try hitting up the Central Market, which is sort of like their version of Reading Terminal Market. It's very historic. It's kind of like more of a grab and go situation, I would say, because there's not a lot of seating. It's only open certain days of the week, though. So,
Oh, you got to plan that out. Yeah.
yes, but they're open Saturdays. So it's good for a Saturday trip.
I like the sound of Central Market. Where else did you eat at?
Yeah, I also ate at the Southern Market, which
Wait,
is yeah, there are two. But yeah, it's more of kind of like a modern food hall. It has like, it's really big and open. It has lots of seatings and the vendors are all like kind of along the edges. It's air conditioned. The Central Market is unfortunately not. Between the Central Market and the Southern Market, and also just like the rest of the Lancaster food scene, you can get stuff from all different cultures since they have a really strong immigrant community there. And you can also, of course, get things that sort of are more of like the Pennsylvania Dutch specialties. When I was going through the Central Market, I love pretzels.
I was just about to say that. I was like, did you get the pretzels?
Yes, I got like this little, it was like the perfect snack for the morning, like when I was kind of just, going about town.
All right. Well, speaking of going around town, where did you go?
Yeah, so I spent a whole day there, so I did a lot. I would say that Lancaster is a great place to just like kind of walk around on your own, but I was kind of thinking, maybe since I hadn't really explored the city before this visit, I should, take a tour and do something a little more formal. So I actually took a history walking tour. It was $10 and it lasted almost 2 hours.
Wow.
So like great money's worth.
Right.
And the guy who led it was a former, I think, middle school history teacher. And he had a lot of fun facts about Lancaster. We got to see like kind of like the big local landmarks, and it was really interesting because I'm really into like Pennsylvania history, and like Lancaster has a lot of that. So it very much like hit my inner history nerd there. And I also, while I was there, I sort of, walked around, I explored shops, I walked through a park. I actually noticed they have these pianos around town. They're sort of like painted or decorated. They're like very artsy.
And you can play them?
Yeah, like they're just like upright.
Oh, wow.
And I looked it up, and it turns out that there's a like music organization in the Lancaster area that installs these pianos every year, like during the spring and summer, as just like this kind of like public access to music thing.
I wish Philly had something like that.
I know. I thought it was such a cool idea. So yeah, I really loved the character of Lancaster. I stopped into a couple of like art galleries that sort of operated on like sort of a pay what you wish kind of situation. I actually stopped into a wine tasting room. This place was called Deerfoot Downtown, and they gave us, I think they let us sample like 10 wines or something like that, and it was only $5.
$5? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You did a great job for like $15.
Yes, it was a great like budget trip. The train tickets are about $21 each way. So it's really not terrible.
More on Pennsylvania day trips after the break.
Mic check. 1, 2. Are we recording? Hi, I'm Michelle Bernstein, an award-winning chef, restaurateur, and mom. I have a lot on my plate, including my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. That's why I was prescribed Cosentyx. It helps me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
All right, Asha, let's get back into your PA day trips. So that was Lancaster, the city. But what about Lancaster or Lancaster County? What do you say? Is it Lancaster?
It's definitely Lancaster.
Okay. Tell me about your trip here.
So I think depending on exactly where in Lancaster County you want to go, getting there should take somewhere between like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 45 minutes from Philly. So you'll probably want a car if you want to go outside of like Lancaster City proper. But yeah, I think this is a good like destination if you're looking for, I guess, more of like a rural adventure.
Okay. So where did you eat? Let's start with that again.
People from the area will probably tell you that this is a super basic recommendation, but like it's popular for a reason. I've just got to mention Shady Maple Smorgasbord. Have you heard of it?
Is that like the ultimate like buffet place?
Yes.
Okay. I heard the pancakes are good.
I have never had their pancakes because I have never actually gone for breakfast.
Okay.
But I have been for lunch many times. It's this kind of huge buffet. It is the biggest in the country, actually.
Wow.
They've got all 3 meals. And also, if you go on your birthday, you can get a free meal as long as you have someone else who's paying for their meal.
Oh, I see. Buy one, get one.
Yeah, it's like a buy one, get
BOGO.
one free. Yeah. They have like a great variety of stuff. They've got, I know a lot of people really like their fried chicken. They've got a lot of like sort of just like, home style, like PA Dutch kind of cooking. And they have lots of desserts too.
All right. Other than the biggest buffet in the country, where else did you go?
So earlier this summer, I spent a day, or really part of a day, exploring the town of Lidditz, it's not very big, very easy to explore, lots of shops. One thing, my kind of going back to the pretzel thing, I love pretzels. The thing that kind of drew me there is I really wanted to go see the Julius Sturgis Pretzel Bakery, which is according to their website, the oldest commercial pretzel bakery in the country. And it's not active anymore. They don't like the Sturgis pretzel company still exists, but they don't make their pretzels at that location. They just kind of like let you tour and you can like learn how to twist a pretzel and stuff. It's a cute little tour. When I was there, I also stopped into the Wilbur Chocolate Shop. That's like a local chocolate company, which I think we talked about in the podcast, actually started in Philly, but eventually moved out to Lidditz. And I also, across from the street from the chocolate shop, I was kind of like walking around this park that they have, and I noticed that there was a like train caboose kind of just parked in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of curious. So I approached it and I saw like a little sign that said it was a caboose museum. And I went inside and there was like a guy inside who was like telling me all about what train cabooses are for and like the history of train cabooses. I don't know. I have no idea what their hours are, but if you happen to be in Lidditz, look for the caboose. It's on Google Maps and see if there's someone in there who can tell you about cabooses.
That's cool.
Yeah. And kind of going outside of Lidditz, speaking of trains, another spot I love in Lancaster County is the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania, which is in Strasburg. They have a lot of railroad stuff. It's exactly what it sounds like. Mm-hmm. And then across the street from the Railroad Museum, there's the Strasburg Railroad, where you can take sort of, I've never done it before, but you can take like rides on historic steam trains. So yeah, if you got someone you know who loves trains, take them to Strasburg. They will have the time of their life. Another thing that I did while I was exploring Lancaster County this summer is I did this covered bridge driving tour that I found on discoverlancaster.com. And they basically have mapped out where like all of Lancaster's covered bridges are. And like I basically made my own map in Google Maps, like sort of like connecting them and like followed this route to like see a bunch of them. And what I loved about going on this tour, though, is that it wasn't just seeing covered bridges, because like they're cute, but like it's a bridge, right? But I just loved that like the tour and kind of going from place to place gave like this really nice opportunity to sort of drive through a lot of like Lancaster's farmland and like see different animals. At one point, my boyfriend had a break to wait for a turtle to cross the road. Like it was just very like, it's a very like fun little drive.
Another county that you have on your list is Lebanon County.
Yes. So full disclosure, this is my home county. So I felt like I kind of needed to shout it out somehow.
Yeah.
So it's about an hour and a half from Philly. One spot in Lebanon County that's really worth checking out is a place called Mount Gretna. It definitely has sort of like a bit of an outdoorsy appeal. It's like this small mountain town, hence the name. They've got this outdoor summer theater, and there are like professional theater productions that happen there. And there are also concerts at that same venue. There's an ice cream parlor that I used to go to a bunch as a kid. It's called the Jigger Shop. And they've just got like some real like monstrosities in terms of like what they put on a Sunday. You can also access the Lebanon Valley Rails to Trails if you're looking to like go for a walk or hike or bike.
We'll have more on this after the break.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Ooh, Asha, you've got Hershey, PA on your list. I remember going to Hershey as a little girl. My mom took me on a trip. She was a gym teacher way back when, and we got to go to Chocolate World. I love this place. Haven't been in years. I want to go again, but there's also a lot of other things to explore in Hershey. Tell us about your experience at Hershey.
So you mentioned going to Chocolate World. I would say the spot is awesome if you're into candy stores, because it's kind of like this ultimate experience. There are like lots of like Hershey candies there that you aren't necessarily going to find in a regular supermarket. And they also have this sort of chocolate factory ride that kind of takes you on a tour of how chocolate is made. The line can get kind of long, but it's free.
And it smells like chocolate.
They're definitely pumping some kind of like perfume in there, I think. I don't know. And then I would say the other main thing to do in Hershey is go to Hershey Park, which, if you're unfamiliar, is an amusement park. Some of my tips for if you're going to go, try to go on a weekday if you can. It's a lot less busy then. And also look up to see if there are any concerts happening at the Hershey Park Stadium, because if there is, you don't want to go that day. Because it's going to be like crazy inside of the park. Also, never buy a ticket at the gate. It's cheaper if you buy online, so make sure you plan ahead. You can also buy tickets at Giant. They sell them for about $60. And also, here's a pro tip, is that if you're doing other stuff in the area, since, you know, we have such a nice guide for you here, you can go at 4 p.m. and actually get in for $40 instead of $60. And while we're talking about saving, I actually do have a little bonus rec for you. This is an alternative to Hershey Park. It's a bit longer of a trip, almost 3 hours from Philly, but you might want to think about checking out Knoebels, which is an amusement park in Northumberland County. It's kind of up in the mountains. It's much more budget friendly, especially if you or someone you're going with isn't really into riding rides. It has free admission and there's free parking, and the rides are all pay as you go. You can also bring a picnic along with you, or you can buy their food, which is actually pretty reasonably priced for an amusement park.
All right. The furthest place on your PA day trip list is our state capital, Harrisburg. I've never been, so I'm really eager to hear your food recommendations and things to do.
So for food, I would say try to check out the Broad Street Market. It's once again one of those things where it's like you go, there's a lot of stuff in one place. And I would also say if you're there, maybe like head across the river. There's this restaurant that I really like in Lemoyne called Dockside Willie's. They have this huge menu. I went with my brother and my boyfriend once, and we all ordered stuff that was super different from each other. And we were all like, what? This is so good. Like lots of variety.
Okay, so what'd you do in Harrisburg?
Yeah, so I've been a couple times to the Pennsylvania State Museum, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a museum about Pennsylvania. Some of the exhibits do feel kind of dated, but the admission isn't very much. And whenever I go, I feel like I learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
I also have taken the tour of the state capitol, which is a building that has tons of history in it. And something that I wasn't quite thinking of when I booked the tour, but made a lot of sense later, is that it's a really great tour if you're into art, because the building just has so much of it inside. There are just like so many different murals and like cool things about the building's architecture. And then the last place I would recommend visiting when you're in Harrisburg is this bookstore that's called Midtown Scholar. It's right across the street from the Broad Street Market. And it's this like huge, like new and used bookstore. They have a cafe and a sort of like snack bar like area.
Right.
And I just got super sucked into the shop. They've got a great section on like Pennsylvania related books. So once again, I love Pennsylvania. So was perfect for me. Definitely worth checking out if you're in Harrisburg.
Asha, that sounds so fun. I know you grew up in Central PA, so some of these spots are familiar to you. But just taking all of these day trips, I mean, what have you learned about Pennsylvania that surprised you or stood out?
I think what I realized is just how much there is to do. I've always thought of Pennsylvania as a place where there's like lots to do in lots of different places, but I don't think I really like understood what that meant and how fun it can be to like sort of put yourself in like one place in Pennsylvania for a whole day and like experience it. And Pennsylvania is a place that you don't have to go very far to experience a more urban place, a more suburban place, a more rural place. Like they all exist and also pretty close together. Like you only have to drive within 2 hours to see all of this. So I think that's super cool.
Well, what stood out to me is all these great places to eat. That's Asha Prihar, former newsletter editor at CityCast Philly. Asha, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Trenae. I hope you can fit in a PA day trip sometime soon.
Read more about Asha's recommended day trips in Pennsylvania by checking out the Hey Philly newsletter. Make sure you're a subscriber. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about Pennsylvania day trips, make some travel plans with your friends. Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with updates on the primary election. Make sure you get out and vote today. Bye. You know, laughing about the funny thing is that it took us an hour to record this. We could have just like went to Lancaster County.
Oopsie.